You are now locked in to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast.
Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of Sitting Down with the Sisters. We are your hosts. I'm Ashley.
I'm Temi.
I'm Ayo.
Sorry, I was about to say I'm Ayo.
I'm done. Yeah, if you want to be Ayo for the day, go for it.
3 in 1. Hallelujah.
Sorry guys, by the way, if you hear...
I want to be inside her skin.
Bye.
I want to be inside her skin.
By the way, guys, if you hear like noise behind the camera,
Rats, they're back again.
the rats are thriving in the walls.
If you've been watching recently,
you know that we're having a bit of an issue. Yeah. Also, just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that's been watching, liking, commenting.
Joseph,
can you hear the rat? Did you hear the rats?
Rats. We know them by name.
Ratatouille.
Blind mice.
Obviously, shout out to those, like we've been saying, season 3, those who've been supporting since the very beginning. I know some people are shocked that this is how far we've come.
Ashley.
We missed her PSA, to be fair. It's been a minute.
To be fair, I haven't done it in like a good...
Yeah,
and someone actually messaged and said like,
wow.
So they're loving it. So
yeah.
Carry on.
Listen, thank you. I know some people are shocked. They didn't think we were going to make it this far. The fact that we're even in the studio is still astounding to some people. Got a surprise for you very soon, guys.
Yeah. Keep us in your
We're
prayers.
prophesying. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Oh, the rats just went off again. So in this episode, we're going to be speaking about how should men pursue women.
What a topic.
This was actually suggested by one of the mice.
No, it actually was suggested by a listener, but then one of the mice co-signed.
Oh, okay. So
it was by a male listener.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Do you know what? Honestly, I'm happy for that male listener because he wants to learn.
He's
so
woke.
big you up, honestly.
Yeah.
He'd rather learn from women than just,
the rats on the street, on the highway.
On the highway.
On the
So I feel
highway.
like this conversation, I can't lie, I haven't really heard, obviously I've heard women speak about it, but it's mainly like a topic that men discuss heavily. I feel like, anyway, not that women don't discuss it, because they'll do briefly, but I feel like for me anyway, I've seen mainly men speak about it.
Also, I was going to ask, do you guys feel, as women, do you feel like men should already have that sort of they should know how to sort of pursue women, basically, let's say a man has a preference for the type of woman he likes. Do you feel like he should already know how to pursue that kind of woman, or do you think he should be open to learning?
From when though?
Yeah, from birth. No,
that's what I'm saying. From when?
I'm saying, for example, let's say from whenever he's ready to, whatever woman he wants to pursue, or whatever time he's ready for a relationship, like serious relationships. Do you feel like he should already have like premeditated thoughts, or just know how to pursue a woman, or do you think it's a thing where it should be a thing where you're open to learning how to pursue a woman?
I think it's something that it's developed over time.
100%.
I mean, it has changed over time.
Yeah, because I feel like if you look at the way how men used to pursue women, like back in secondary school, BBM, all of that, I feel like it's changed drastically.
And also, we're talking about our generation, BBM. Even let's talk about our parents' generation.
Let's talk about even biblical times.
Yeah,
biblical times. Do you know what I mean? So one thing that's always stayed consistent: men have always been the ones chasing women.
Yeah, that shouldn't change. Hello.
Do you think that should change?
No.
No. Yash? No.
Hallelujah.
I don't chase anybody but the Lord.
Yeah,
so.
I'm
Hallelujah.
I'm sitting right here, very still, not moving.
But yeah, let's actually a good place to start off. So let's go back all the way. Biblical times is like early times. When men used to pursue women, they used to approach the family first. They wouldn't even talk to the woman first. They would talk to the family of the woman first to even get the opportunity to speak to the girl.
Right.
And it was always for marriage. Like,
oh yes,
it wasn't obviously today the talking stage. It was straight. I'm ready to get married. Is your daughter available? Is she ready?
But do you not
Let's
feel
go.
like in biblical times they were very quick to get married? The goal was always marriage. So do you not? Doesn't that pose the question of whether it was based on attraction and like looks and physical aspects and physical traits?
I feel like attraction, all of that are very innate things, though, very natural things that gravitate people towards another person. So I still think that was a factor, but maybe not as superficial.
Not the main,
as it is now.
Because even if you think about it, it was the man approaching the girl's family, right? So he had to have seen the girl already Oh, well, not always. Maybe like they'll just go to the family and ask, oh, do you have a daughter? Is she of age to get married? But I feel like majority of the times it was they'd seen what she looked like. Yeah. So obviously they would go to the family first.
And dating was never a thing.
It wasn't a thing.
In fact, dating, what the hell is that?
About engagements, and my friend was talking about, shout out to her, she'll know who she is. She put into a chat I'm in, and she was like, back in the day when men used to propose to women would literally say, okay, give me like a week or give me a month to think about it, and then I'll come back to you. Versus now, every engagement you see, do you want to marry me?
The answer
yes. You must answer me then. And she said she wishes in a way that things were still like that. And I said, I think the argument you could have towards things not being like that anymore is that now people date. Back in the day when people used to get proposed to,
it was literally a shock factor.
Like, you literally came out of nowhere. You marry me?
Because right now,
and they didn't know each other that much.
Exactly.
This day and age, if you're in your right mind anyway, I would really pray you just don't propose out of the blue.
Right.
Like if
you would have talked.
If I would want, like,
that's what I was gonna say.
Do you know what I mean? If I get to the stage where I'm being proposed to, I can imagine myself having to have had that conversation with my partner. He would know I'm ready to get married to him. Yep. And the only thing that would be a surprise is the day he does it.
Exactly. Because you guys would have been dating for a number of years.
There you go. So you are right.
So that's why you'd probably say yes on the day.
Right.
But that's obviously not what we're talking about. So how should men pursue women? Over time, obviously we've talked about biblical times. We then moved to more modern
let's talk about more modern times, like our parents' times. Oh guys, I'm not gonna lie, I did really like from the things I've heard, from the movies I've watched, from what I know, the knowledge and understanding I have from like my parents' generation, I thought it was really cute.
What did they do?
Okay, I don't know about the westernized society and how things were done here. If we take it back to like Africa,
Niger,
I thought it was so cute because they were very intentional as well as biblical times. But obviously the difference was the dating did occur, but back then it was dating to marry more than it is now. It was dating to marry. You see a babe and you want her to be your wife, but you will go through the courting process. You know, you go through the courting process, and you know, you take things in stages and steps. But men were more, I personally believe, I could be wrong, but I definitely believe that men were definitely more intentional with what they wanted. Actually, and they made it very, very clear to women. And I love that. I love intentions. The little things mattered so much.
The very little things.
Even to touch on what you're saying, my mum was telling me how when my dad was like pursuing her, he would write her letters.
Wow.
Where are the men that would do such today?
Okay.
There are some.
There's that, but really and truly, I will argue like there's social media now. They didn't have it then. We don't need to write letters anymore.
Sorry.
I know you want, like, I know you said you want it, but really and truly, when was the last time you wrote a letter to someone? Like, we don't write letters anymore.
I would do it though. I would
do it. I'm not gonna lie.
I just think that the thing is, you're right about social media, but I do think because of social media and the instant gratification of what social media has brought, dating and stuff like that, and the pursuing of women has become the ghetto.
Do you think also it's because we've become so easily accessible?
Yes,
through social media.
And we also wanted to touch on consent because I think that all links together. Us seeming more accessible to these men per se has made them feel like they can do things they shouldn't do in first meeting a woman, like touching her inappropriately or saying things that are inappropriate because it seems normal to do so in the climate that we live in, because people feel like they know a person more than they do nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
They get overly familiar.
And Ashley's point literally of women being more accessible, it's a real thing.
It really
because
is.
if you think of our parents' generation, obviously I'll always refer back with our parents' generation. I'll never forget one of my friends' dad. I think we're all chilling, and he must have mentioned something that still sort of stuck with me till this day. He must have been like, wow, like the caliber of women, I don't know if I took offense to it, but he was like, oh, the caliber of women these days, like you women, or he kind of said, oh, you men are lucky, like we didn't have that back in our days.
Like easier.
It was so it's so easy to find a woman these days. Like we didn't have that back in our days. You know, you had to meet a woman through a mutual or through a friend's, you know, something, word of mouth, because you live in the same neighborhood, not because, you know, of social media.
You saw them on Instagram, you follow them, DM.
So it's a good, I think it's a pro and a con.
100%.
Definitely, because obviously it makes the dating pool easier in that sense, but then it makes it harder as well, because when you have too many options, your eyes will wander. You know.
Wow,
but how should men
pursue women?
Who wants to start off? Because I don't know.
I'll say something.
Go for it, babes.
The best encounters I've had with men that are trying to show me that they're interested in me is when they're being very respectful.
Oh my God, you read my... I get out of my head.
Like, we're always in each other's heads. But like,
that's the biggest one. Yeah.
Because... Okay, respect, you don't come and talk to me like you've known me, because you haven't known me. You show me the same respect, like we're equals, you respect me like I'm an intelligent person that you're coming to encounter. It's not all about what you've seen. It's about actually
getting to know me for who I am,
understand, and being just, I don't know, human, being a normal, not being like a creep.
That's it. Yeah. And obviously we've touched on it already, but I think the intentionality as well. I think women,
oh my God, those were the things I wanted to say, Ash.
Listen, we're the same, we're sisters. I feel like that's honestly for me one of the main things, intentionality, because I feel like as
lacking
women, I feel like we always know when someone is actually serious and when they're not serious.
Of course we know.
Even we acknowledge
exactly, whether we're in denial about it, we know when someone is serious or not. So I really, really appreciate when a man is intentional, like when they just come and they're like, oh, do you know what, like I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a man, so I don't know.
An example of being intentional is, okay, say you've met somebody now for the first time. You're clear about your future steps.
Yeah.
You're clear. Not saying marriage. We're not talking marriage here. We're just saying little things like, okay, men in this generation, I can't even cap. When it comes to planning simple date, intentionality is in the bin. You're asking me what I want to do every single week. Are you? Is everything all right?
Or even like they won't let you know like what they see, like what potential you have, like what potential this has. So if you're someone where you know you just want to date to have fun, say that. Like fair enough, there are some men who will be very clear about that, but at the same time there are men who won't, or they expect you to stick around
whilst they figure it out.
Go with the flow. I don't know what flow that is. The only flow I know is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, personally, actually, even on the topic of how should men pursue women, I don't believe in going with the flow. Sorry if that breaks your bubble or whatever.
I'm tired of that flow.
I was listening to Shotgun with Alchemy, which is the 90s Babies, like a side show they do, and he was talking to Koi, and Koi was basically like, a lot of people have ended up in prison because of going with the flow.
Wow.
A lot of people have ended up in horrible relationships because of going with the flow.
And toxic relationships
was that, for instance, you're a young boy growing up in a disenfranchised area. Going with the flow leads you to doing stuff that doesn't require intentional decision making.
Right.
So you end up hanging around people.
End goal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You end up hanging around people that are just coincidentally there. You end up doing things that are just easier to do than maybe studying your books, which requires more intention, or
you're literally just flowing
just with the wind, and so
wherever life
going where the wind blows.
And that really resonated with me. And so for me, how men should pursue women, don't just go with the flow.
Absolutely not.
Be intentional.
I honestly enjoy laying your cards on the table. That is literally,
because what do you actually lose by doing that?
Nothing. You guys have said, listen, respect. Like, I don't know anyone that's ever known me, respect has been a thing from day one, and it will always be. Respect, intentionality, and literally just laying your, like, being intentional is laying your cards on the table. Like, literally say how it is. And I feel like sometimes, don't misquote me, because sometimes I can get why that can be scary for women, because it puts a lot of pressure on us, because it's like, oh my gosh, like he knows exactly what he wants, and you know, all of that. But when I say laying your cards on the table, like Ayo said, it's not really, we're not talking marriage. We're just talking about what you want,
what you actually want,
and telling me
where you're going.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So. And even to go on from that point as well, it's also about not being a child when you're, okay, because now obviously we're 24, Ashley's nearly 24. Yeah.
Amen, hallelujah.
Amen, hallelujah.
We're talking about simple stuff like men are here withholding compliments because you don't want to gas up a girl, or you're withholding.
There's something about men not trying to humble women. That's, do you know what
really,
I mean?
Like you're half.
Oh, that's very off-putting.
Half-hearted with your pursuit. That is so poor.
The games,
that is poor.
Obviously, there's some, and let's not cap. There's some women out there who they're also playing the games as well.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking for myself and for these two women that I know. We don't have time for that.
Yeah.
The game's finished already. In fact, we were never even in the games. We don't know those games. We've never played those games.
But yeah, that's another thing, because
I'm sorry, we don't know
your cards on the table, that means being vulnerable, and I think a lot of men lack that vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to say that it's their fault, because a lot of men, when you grow up around boys as well, like men that I've grown up with, like that grew around boys, vulnerability was kind of like made fun of a lot of the time. So
absolutely.
then you build up an exterior where it's like nothing affects you. You're not that.
I've been a victim of that. I've always had this whole, like, naturally, I think I'm admiring and appreciating the softer side of me more recently.
She's a soft babe.
At heart, I'm a very soft babe, but I feel like life has forced me to be very protective over my feelings, and be hard over my feelings. And from the outside, I look stern and I look like you know, it's just like, oh, like, do you know what I mean? But that's not the case at all.
Right.
I feel like that's why, unfortunately, it's not good for men to do those things, because even though you should be your own person, you should feel how you feel and appreciate and just take in how you feel. But unfortunately, when men are not intentional, when men have this whole agenda of playing a game or trying to do something, they create women like the old me that just don't want to express their feelings or say certain things because they don't want to be laughed at, or they don't want to be the weakest link. Because one thing I will tell you, I'm not the weakest link, and I'm not gonna be. Do you know what I mean? So there's that.
Wow, that's
that part.
Powerful. Because you become a shell of yourself. You become a fake version of yourself. You put up a guard now. So then no one's actually you know, the whole, I don't want to be the first person to say I like you. I don't want to be the first person.
It creates a pattern and a cycle, and it's so toxic.
And the older I get, the more I've honestly just left those things behind, because it doesn't serve any purpose.
Doesn't serve anyone.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't result in anything positive at all. So
because you need that to love, you need transparency and vulnerability. It's not something that's separate, it comes with it. And if you're always walking around with this, that's why I relate to that heavy. If you're walking around with that wall, obviously there's such a thing as guarding your heart, yes, but guarding your heart does not now mean that you create a wall, a
toxic guarded wall.
Where no one can get in. Yeah, exactly, pushing people away. That's not it. And another thing as well, how men should pursue women is communication. She said,
I'm the chief communicator.
Communication, please.
Elaborate, baby girl.
A lot of men
for me anyway, what I mean by communication is the way you. Okay, when it comes to pursue, we're not speaking about the actual dating period. We're talking about when a man actually pursues women, the approaches, the beginning. How you speak to me, I'm not your mate. like you said, I think it ties in even with respect, because I feel like if you see me from afar, you like how I look, there's something about me that's drawing you to me.
First of all, the confidence that you've taken to even approach me in the first place, I'm applauding it.
Exactly.
So
thank you so much.
Expecting something that comes with that.
So the way you
just talk and you don't open your mouth and just something mad comes out of it.
So the way you talk to me should make sense. I'm not now saying that you should get on your knees. Oh, your royal highness.
If you could, I'm joking.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just genuinely talking about like talk like you've been raised by someone who is sensible. Like you've been raised properly, you've been raised well.
You're educated. You know?
So I feel like if you don't have that, and let's take women out of the equation, let's just talk for just in general. I feel like everyone should have a common basic respect for every single human being.
Whether and you find them attractive or not.
And you can really, really tell who has that trait by the way they treat not only the opposite sex, but by the people that they know and they do not know, and their own sex as well. So I feel like if you know you're someone that, you know, it's the way you speak to people isn't correct.
It's poor.
It's very poor.
I don't think your next move should be dating.
That's correct.
You still have a lot of work to have. And women notice that when when there's still work to be done and you haven't done it. And when I say work, I don't mean work that you do in the relationship. Work that you're meant to do by yourself
on yourself. Because
I can't speak for every woman, but I notice
exactly because it's almost like if you. I'm a big believer, in if you date someone that's rude to other people, eventually they're going to be rude to you. That is how it is. You're not an exception.
No.
Just because they're nice at the beginning, but later on, that rudeness is going to come to you.
Mate, and
you're going to be on the receiving end.
And even leading on beautifully from where you started, if you're now talking about the pursuit from approach to dating them, communication is so key because it's the little things. It's when you're going to be busy, letting a person know. I don't know why in our generation we've lost common courtesy of just being communicative about things like that. Like people see it as you're needy. No, it's the same way. Say for instance, I'm here with my girls in this room and I need to go and do something, but I know they might need me here. It's me letting them know, I'm just quickly gonna go and do something. The same way you do it in real life. But people have lost that. Obviously we're not saying, obviously there's excessive ways of doing it, and people, I'm not talking about the extremes here, we're just talking about basic common
courtesy, basic manners.
No, you're right. You're so right.
Because I feel like our generation, we have this whole independent thing where no one should be able to tell us what to do. Like, I don't owe you anything kind of thing. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and regardless of if I'm in a relationship or not. that's all well and good. Honestly, I hear you. I get that point of view. But at the same time, when you decide to pursue a woman, as men, you got to consider certain things, like especially let's say you've ticked the boxes of you're being respectful, you're being intentional, you've now gotten to the stage to dating her. Why relent? Why relent? Because you started off so well. Why are you relenting? Why all of a sudden? Why has it become a thing where you've gotten her now? So it's like
poor.
Meaty.
That's another one, and I feel like that genuinely comes down to intentionality, because I feel like some men just like the chase. They're not actually pursuing you because they actually want you. It's just, oh, let me see if I can actually get her, and then when they do have you, all of a sudden they've forgotten the work that they put in.
This is not all men.
Yeah, it's not all. It's honestly not, because there are men out there, and we've seen it, especially over this pandemic. We have seen the men that have gone to hell and back. Let me not even use hell, heaven and back to really make things happen for their women 100%. Or for someone that I'll never forget when I saw at the very start of the pandemic, when this man he lived like in a building complex, and he liked a girl that was like on the other side. So what he did was he wrote like on a massive card. He basically wrote like, hi, like I find you, like I'm attracted to you, blah blah blah. Here's my number if you're interested. Text me, like that consent. You're not forcing her. It said, if you're interested, text me. It out there. So he put it on his I think he had a balcony, and so then he put it, so she saw it, and then they text each other, and then texting, and then they had like a Zoom day where like they can see each other on the balcony, but obviously they had the laptop. It's stuff like that,
so
like
cute.
not making excuses,
romantic.
like not making excuses, because really and truly there's no excuse. There's really no excuse when you're genuinely interested in a woman. I feel like you will move mountains.
100%. And on the talk of communication,
I'm a believer of that.
We're not even talking about,
sorry, I don't think it's fairy tale, it's real life. It's possible, it's my portion, it's all of our portion.
And we're not talking about just mere talking, we're talking about emotional intelligence. So being able to communicate about things that are maybe tough, or being able to communicate about emotions. I think people lack that. Oh, okay, I actually feel something, I'm going to tell you, and I know it's difficult, not everybody works like that, and it's something you build yourself up to, but I do think that's very important in the pursuit of a woman, because there are going to be things that maybe rub you the wrong way one time, rub her the wrong way, and if you're not able to communicate those things, things will be, you're laying a rocky foundation.
It's going to be difficult, because when it's time to have the serious conversations, it's going to be so difficult and hard.
And also being able to have the serious conversations. A lot of men lack the range to talk about things more. All they know to talk about is, oh, you have a nice body.
What panties are you wearing? What colour are you wearing? Send nudes.
When are you coming to my house?
What are you doing tomorrow? Let's
that's all you know how to communicate about.
That's
sex.
And that's another thing as well. If you know you're someone that, if you're very sex driven, we're not the ones for you. We're not the ones for you. I'm so sorry. And you know what?
The forefront of your life is sex.
Everything is sex.
Why don't you ever get to know someone before? The pursuit is not about sex. Sex is actually, obviously,
it's the bonus, it's the cherry on top.
Don't get twisted. You got to be attracted to the person you're going for, and sex is very important.
Yes, we should be attracted to each other, chemistry, wonderful, but if everything is about intercourse, everything is about doing a mad thing sexually.
You're sexing every single woman you pursue.
That
one is that's scary.
Right. Actually, do you know?
I think that's scary.
So, I think one of the last things I think about when men should pursue women, it's about boundaries and respecting a person's boundaries.
Yeah,
I feel like respect, intentionality encompasses everything.
That's a huge
boundaries are so important. So, say for instance, if a girl has let you know that she's doesn't like a certain thing,
or she's not interested.
Yeah, if she's not interested, is the first
obviously
boundary.
that one
you should be respecting. That one is basics.
And when we say boundary, if she says she's not interested, it's not now because you've left her alone, you think you've respected the boundary. It's not now to be calling her names, saying, oh, you were ugly anyway, or to then disrespect her. That's not respecting
that's not how it goes. That's a great point, because that's not how it goes.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm generalizing here, but it's just, I think it's younger guys that do. Is it younger guys? Men, to be fair, older men do that. Insecure men do that.
And on the topic of respecting boundaries as well, it's also because boundaries also exist in relationships. I think sometimes people only see boundaries as a consent thing of whether he can pursue her or not,
or during the dating phases, even in relationships as well.
Past that part, say the girl is also interested in you, cool. Say she has a boundary about something, like she doesn't like when you tease her about something. respecting that, and it's not every day push past the boundary. Or say for instance she's waiting till marriage to have sex, not trying to finagle your way into that. And honestly, I feel different boundaries.
I feel like women are very like clear about stuff like that from the beginning. Then that gives you a chance to decide if you want to carry on or not. Like we're just giving you the choice here. Like do pick.
The same way you have boundaries as a man, I think you should respect that so that she can respect yours too.
Right, like you wouldn't want her to embarrass you like in front of your friends or to do X, Y, and Z. It's mutual. It goes both ways, 100%. Of course.
Yeah, a lot comes into approaching women. It's not just, oh yeah, hi, I'm this, that. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. And obviously, a lot of the time it comes naturally anyway. So all these things we're saying, I feel like a lot of men do have it, just to put it out there. So it's not as if they don't have it.
You have the potential for it, for sure.
But just
it's there.
The type of woman you're going for, you just got to know how to approach her. Women like being approached differently.
That's another good point.
And that's why our points are quite broad. They're not like specific to a person, because at the end of the day, respect, intentionality, and all these things are very universal, and all women will respect that and receive that well. But also, if you know that obviously the girl that you're going to approach will probably have similar interests to you, and then you can intertwine the two together. So yeah, that's
because even us, even though we're all very, very similar, we like things done differently. Like we like different things.
Honestly.
And so when you're approaching us, you approach us differently.
Oh, does your man let you have friends? Don't your man let you have friends? That's you not respecting.
If you were my man, would you want me to be your friend?
Oh,
would you want me to have someone like you as a friend?
If a woman says to you, I have a man, whether you believe she has a man or not, it means she's not interested.
She's expressing a boundary.
Go away.
Hold it. Even if she's lying,
even if she like, do you know what I mean? More times she can just tell you I'm not interested. But some women are fearful of even rejecting.
Become a default.
So they have to say I've got a boyfriend, you know. So it's just like, honestly, walk away. That's it.
And
don't look back.
I'm done.
Please.
And all in all, I think one thing that's also very important about pursuing women is you and yourself believing in your source. Yeah, I think a lot of men, if you're insecure, unfortunately, it will show, and sometimes it then it then ends up looking like you end up approaching women badly because of the insecurity, not because you're a bad person all the time, not necessarily, but because maybe there's a part of you you still need to work on, even just as a singular individual. Because I do think men that believe in their source, one, are confident, know how to respect people, know how to be intentional, they are able to communicate with these women and pursue them correctly. I think it sometimes takes that personal work first that people are not really willing to do. Nowadays people are just running into relationships, taking baggage with them. Not saying you won't have baggage, everybody has baggage, but there's ways, man.
I think that's even a great point to end it on. That's just for men to just believe in yourself, believe in who you are, believe in what you bring to the table,
and I feel like girl will see it.
I feel like that when you're like that really radiates, and that shows. Like just seeing someone that you're not trying to fit in with the crowd, but you're your own person.
I'm attracted to that
confidence. Like you are your own person. You don't need backup help. You don't need that person. Exactly. You don't need a cosign. Like it's just you can come up to any person, whatever, and do what you need to do.
Correct.
And men, just stay consistent. What you do in the beginning, continue. Don't be comfortable.
How did we miss that? Consistency.
I gotta stay consistent.
Consistency is key.
Don't be comfortable,
because anyone can get turned off by a lack of inconsistency. You might be the best man in the world. You might be Michael B. Jordan.
But if you're not consistent,
consistency will really.
Michael B. Jordan is fading.
Yeah, now you're right on the highway.
On the highway.
Caught in 4K.
I'm done. That's it. How did we miss the consistency?
Elaborate on that consistency. When we say consistency, it's the energy. The energy you invested on day 1, I still need to see that energy on day 20.
Yeah, because more time I have that energy.
More time, girls
are consistent.
We
women are
reciprocate the energy we're given. Most there's this statement people make: when you give a girl a house, she makes it a home.
Yeah,
you give her groceries,
that's with a lot
she
of
makes
women.
a meal. She's able. We transform energy into something else. So that's what we do.
And you know what's sad? Even when the energy is not even given, we still bring it anyway.
Over time.
Sad.
But then we're also miserable. So then you start seeing bitterness. So don't make us bitter. Okay,
please just make us better.
Yeah, come on, man.
The consistency is so important. Wow, how did we not? Wow,
that's it.
Like the same way you made her feel like a queen, is the same way you should be making her feel like a queen.
Oh, guys, I cannot sorry, I know.
Let's be going.
Like, how could I forget? This is literally the topic for it. You know how people talk about the chase. Obviously, we're talking about how to approach women and stuff. What do you guys genuinely think? Like, do you believe in the whole chasing a woman, like, or do you believe?
What do you mean by chase?
Okay, like let's say you've seen a man has seen an attractive girl. He wants to talk to her. And let's say she hasn't sort of accepted the gesture the first time round. And do you believe he should try again to try and pursue her? Like the pursue, basically. Like, you know, the whole, like, do you get it? Like the chase. Do you believe in the chase or not?
I don't believe in games. So if it looks like games, no.
Because, you know, women do this whole, I don't want to talk to him this
but
time.
They actually
if he tries again.
Exactly.
But they actually want to.
I think that's...
Or sometimes it's even like they don't
look.
Sometimes it's even... Sometimes it's even the first time they don't actually want to. Like, they don't see the potential in the guy, and then later on it changes.
That's different because then
you're
genuine
so?
with how you feel. Some women genuinely see it in the beginning, but they feel like, nah, I'm gonna wait till he like I'm too hard. I'm playing hard to get.
Basically,
right? So playing hard to get.
That's what I was getting at.
I think that's playing hard to get. Personally, this is me, Ayo, that's saying this. The reason I don't believe in that is I just think it creates games. I believe you can have bants in the process of pursuing a woman. There can be bants, there can be fun. Doesn't mean that I'm here doing guessing game every single day about... I don't believe in that.
Can I be really honest with you? I agree with you because I used to be that person. That playing hard to get. And
I used to play hard to get too.
It hasn't ended well because look, now I'm still single. So.
No, it's redundant, man.
You said still hard to get. Well,
no,
okay.
Honestly, like, girls think they're doing a mad thing when they play hard to get, but the same man they're playing hard to get with is getting bare babes on the side.
Honestly, that's good for him. I don't care.
No, it's not even that you should care, but it's like but girls think that they're doing something when they do it.
That's it's true.
I get why girls think they're doing something though, because who wants someone that's like, why do you want something so easy?
But I think for me, when I was
that was the mindset. Sorry, that was the mindset I did have, because it's just like, if you want me, you've got to work hard for it.
For me, it was I want to see if you're actually serious. But growing up, I've realised
there's no correlation.
That they're not synonymous together. Exactly, it's not
consistent.
Guys,
seriousness and doing hard to get, they don't even make
because you know, a man will try to kingdom come. Yeah, once you say yes, we just start moving
up. Yeah, like, what does that mean?
But obviously we're talking about when we were younger. I feel like the older I get, the whole playing hard to get thing is, looking back,
it's played out. It's tired.
Very laughable.
No, and even
it's very tired.
As a woman, I go for what I want. Like, if I see a guy and he approaches me and I'm really enjoying the vibe, I am not playing hard to get.
I'm not wasting any
you
time.
Can't have fun in that pursuit process. No one's saying you can't have fun, but this guessing game of playing hard to get is done, because it's essentially part of it is the gamification of dating, where people have been turned into objects. So everything is just it's a game, and then you're confused when he's not interested in you when he's got you, because he was playing games in the beginning.
When I did do that whole playing hard to get, I'll be honest, if a guy did, let's say he pursued the first 2 times or 3 times and I wasn't having it or anything, and he did move on to someone else, I was never hurt. I'll be honest. It was just like, okay, dude, like, I don't care.
I don't think that is true, but I'm just saying, like, I think what in terms of the pursuit of how men should pursue women, that playing hard to get, unfortunately, I don't know how to explain it. It just lacks intentionality.
Absolutely.
So it lacks one of the main points we've
and you kind of start on a bad foundation also, because it's almost like when
genuine.
you're
fighting for affection, when affection is something that should be freely given.
It's subconsciously, you're in your mind. Well, for me anyway, I realized when I was doing that, it was almost like for the remainder of the relationship, he had to fight all the time. Like, he felt like he had to fight all the time.
And fight for what at the end of the day? Because if you both feel the same way about each other,
it's a one big game. It's a dirty game.
Putting my love in a cup. I'm only pouring 10% today. Tomorrow maybe 20.
Rather than playing
the next day 15.
Rather than
then
playing
after
hard
that 5.
Rather than playing hard to get, I think the better way of this is my opinion, maybe the better way of doing it rather than playing hard to get is just, as women, I know we can be very vulnerable and we might not want to show our vulnerable side so quickly, and rightfully so, because I'm like that. Not to say I don't show, not to say I'm not vulnerable, but I don't show it as, as quickly, especially
you have to have discernment.
If I'm starting to get to know
because not everyone deserves to have that side of you.
I would just honestly say, it sounds mad, but you've got to basically read the room. Just watch the behavior and just see.
And know your worth.
Know your worth. Honestly, know your worth. If you feel like, okay, he's done the whole chasing thing. I know what I like. I went for him, and he's not really delivering. Know when to leave.
That's another one. Know when to walk away.
Know when to walk away.
Because that's so key. Knowing your worth is so key. Because then you're able to say, okay, this situation isn't what I thought it was.
It's no longer serving me. I gotta get out of here, mate.
Listen to yourself.
Remember, you have the autonomy to do so.
You gotta listen.
There's a quote that I've seen. You know me, guys, and my quotes.
This will be the rounding up quote. Go for it.
Is if you don't know where you stand with someone, maybe it's time to stop standing and start walking.
Oh.
And
on that note, thank you guys for watching this episode.
Take a bow.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next episode, guys.
Bye, guys.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.